is create a radius mailer using Corefact around a new listing that we have. So in order to do that, start by going to corefact.com and use our user information to sign in. Once you've signed in this case we're going to be doing the Just Listed postcard series. And so we're going to click on Just Listed. We're going to go down and select the card that we want. And we had looked at these previously. The one that we're going to use, I think, was this one. Is that right?
Oh, no. Yeah, that looks good.
Let's see. Okay, so this is the one we're going to do. So we need to find 3 photos and update the copy in it. So we click on Select. And then the next piece that we're going to do is complete the back side of the card. And in this case there are 2 of us working on the sale. So we're going to look for a card that has 2 people. And in some cases where there's only 1 of us, we would be using the card that only has 1 person. In that case it would either be this one here. If it has a black front, we'd be using this one. And if it has a white front, we would be using this one over here. Okay, so in this case we're going to be using this card. Okay, so we go ahead and select that with the radio button and then go down to continue. All of the images at this point have been downloaded into the team folder. We always leave the license number blank, and using the account logo, again in this case we're going to use a slightly different logo. Typically we would use the balloon logo. We go to the team drive, logos, so typically we would use that one or this one. In this case it's a luxury property, so we're going to use the luxury brand, which is going to be this one here. So we'd select that, generate the proof, okay. So the first thing we're going to do is enter the street address. So this piece is obviously absolutely critical. There's literally no room for mistakes here, because if we make an error here, the sellers will typically fire us. And so usually we would put Mike Hughes team, but this one's a little bit different. There are 2 of us. We're going to put Chris Vitor and Mike Hughes. And again, typically it would be Mike Hughes team alone. So we've got the street address. And up here we're going to put the property web address. And then we're going to start adding images. Okay, so I have clicked on all of the images and uploaded my favorites. If you ever have any questions about that, we can just go through that together. And then you go to page 2.
Awesome, man. We just want to make sure that in conjunction with an offer, that we have a seller's.
Okay, so now we're on the back side, and we're going to make some updates here. We're going to use these as the defaults. Basically, the lender logos are always going to be blank. And again, on the back, next to my photo, it would have the my actual name instead of Mike Hughes team. If Mary Beth or someone else's listing the property, this is also the way that we would do it with a 2-agent card. So I have my direct cell phone number here. That could be the team number. I modified this a little bit, and so everything else basically stays the same. The team member here, their phone number, the photos, and now we go to continue.
Shauna? Good, how you doing? Good, I was just actually starting to write you an email.
Okay, so once we are on continue, we get the shipping date. Keep that as the default basically. For standard mail, we're going to change this to first class actually, and we're going to buy the list. So you click on buy list, 180 Franklin Street, Newton, Mass. We're going to just double check the zip code. It's 02458. Okay, so we've got the address. We're going to do 200 around the property. We're going to do single families and condos. Basically, we always want to do single families and condos, and we're going to do, in this case, we'll do any, whether they're owners or, actually we're not. We're going to do owner-occupied and absentee owners. Click on Add. So in this case, there are a few variables here that are not 100% clear. Whether or not to include renters and things like that. Ask me when you're putting it together, and we can make that decision on a case-by-case basis. So I've selected 200 mailers to go out on a radius of this property. We're going to click on Continue. Cool. So now we're at the approval stage. Basically, we just want to make sure that everything is coming through exactly the way that we thought it would. Double check the spellings, double check the pictures, make sure everything looks good, and then we're going to click on I accept and approve. Alright, so I went through the purchase process without restarting the video. So I'm going to have to show you in another video when I do a single agent postcard. But that is how you basically do it. You just click on order and you're done.